Hey, it's September 11th, 2023. It's 22-year anniversary of 9/11. We happen to be having an office meeting, so we thought we'd all share our personal stories and express our gratitude for the people that are in the career of first responders, EMTs, firemen, policemen, the everyday heroes that don't get enough attention, funding, support, public love. So I think a great person to toss to right now is Marina. She was a flight attendant and a big veteran supporter and family.
I remember September 11th very well. I just put Carly on the bus, and John was supposed to go to school, and I saw the towers get hit, and somebody said, "Oh, that's a small plane." I knew it wasn't a small plane. It changed our world, and it changed the flying industry. So incredibly thankful for the flight crews that were out there that got people home, but more importantly, everybody the country that came together. And it's a different day, but today is 22 years later, and I think we're healing.
So 9/11, I was in third grade, a little too young at the time to really understood what it meant, but I can remember it like it was yesterday, all the facial expressions, that was going on at the time. And me and my friends still honor it. Any time we have a sporting event going on and the score is 9/11, we always say it was more than just the score.
I was working a big girl job at Bay Health Medical Center in Dover, Delaware, which is very close to the Dover Air Force Base. And so I remember the fears being that since it's one of the largest Air Force base on the East Coast, were they going to be a target? Mm-hmm. And were we going to have to deal with casualties and that sort of thing? And I also worked with several gals who were from New York, and their family members were firefighters and police officers, and I just remember the panic and not being able, for them to be able to talk to their loved ones and know if they were okay.
Yeah, so on September 11th, I just graduated high school, and was just starting college when that happened. I was actually on campus. A lot of confusion. My dad worked in DC, and so I remember trying to reach him, but the cell phone networks were all just boggled down, and so wasn't able to reach him. So of course it was scary. He was working in DC, and the Pentagon had been hit, and the usual concerns that everybody had and fears that everybody had, particularly in the DC area and of course in the New York area. I remember the feeling, as much as I remember 9/11, and of course remember that very vividly. One of the things that stuck with me was the feeling of unity that our country had shortly after. Political parties, things like that didn't matter anymore. And my hope is, I think we've unfortunately kind of gone away from that recently, and I would like to see some of that unity return, some of that feeling that we had, post 9/11 of one country, one nation. You can have differences of opinions, but at the end of the day, we're all on the same team.
I remember being in math class in 9th grade at Fauquier High School and being concerned about family members that I knew worked at the Pentagon. And thankfully everyone was fine. I did lose 2 people from my barn family that were flight attendants in the plane that hit the Pentagon. And that was my first experience of tragedy, and I'll never forget that day.